This video covers the systems analysis phase of the software development lifecycle and supports the systems analysis project interval. When doing systems analysis, you are analyzing the business and business units overall and in total. You're also doing this analysis systems agnostic, meaning you are still working on understanding and analyzing the business aspects before diving into what the system or systems they will need. So you'll be utilizing the information gathered in this phase to help you analyze systems and make recommendations to the business on what systems will fit their needs. A very important motto to remember: the business needs should dictate the system's needs, not the other way around, which is why the systems analysis phase is very important. Too often I see companies who purchase a system and then find out that it doesn't meet their business needs. So they end up implementing a bunch of manual processes outside of the system because the system doesn't meet their needs. This is why it is important that you start with the structure and needs of the business and then search for a system that will meet the business needs so the company ends up with a functioning system. This is why the systems analysis phase is so important. So what do you cover during the systems analysis phase? So let's take a look at the example business case. So during systems analysis, you will be looking at the current structure and information of the company and also asking if they have plans to change the current structure that the system needs to support. So you may not be looking for a system to support their current needs, but their future needs as well. Some of the models utilized in the example business case are business models, process models, user models, and data models. When doing your business case, do not limit yourself to just these models, as there's many different types of analysis tools and models that can be used to conduct systems analysis. So when we look at the business case here, we start with the business model. Knowing the structure of the business helps to understand how the business is laid out and what the system may need to support. It may also help you identify areas that the system may need to support that the business didn't think about. It's a great conversation tool, as well as identifying what's in scope and or out of scope for your project. So you'll notice in here that there's only one business model. For this business case, they had just completed a structure change in their business, and this is what they now need to be supported. So this is technically their future state and their current state because they had already done the structure change. In your business case, you may have a current state model and a future state model. Understanding both the current state and future state vision they have is critical. You will notice that there is also narrative included with this model to help explain what the model is showing. This is to help eliminate any assumptions about what the model is, and having narratives with any image, table, picture, etc. in a business case is best practice. So make sure you include the narratives. The next model in the example business case is the process models. Again, you will notice that there is quite a bit of narrative that goes along with this process model, and that's to help avoid any confusion. It really explains what this process does step by step in the narrative. Again, you may also have a current state process model and a future state model that is needed based on how their business is changing. Understanding the processes within the company helps dive into details of how things really pass through the business and different units, and helps to identify areas of improvement that a system can help with, or where automation may be needed or can help. User models are the next models in the example business case. So by outlining the different user groups within the business units, this really helps to identify the different types of users that may need to interact with the system. When you get into defining requirements for a system, user requirements are a very big part of system development. Understanding how the structure of the users are laid out really helps start the user profile requirements within the system when it's chosen. Again, this is a great conversation tool to get to know the business's current needs and future needs for their user models. And again, you will see that there are narratives that describe the model for the user model. So the data models are the next models that are in the example business case. So data models are important to understand all of the different pieces of data that are needed for each business unit. It not only helps you identify overlapping needs to maybe get you to a central repository, it may also help identify gaps in the data or even data that's being captured that's not needed. This is a great conversation tool to get to know the business's current and future needs. And again, you'll see that there is a narrative that describes the different areas and their data needs, as well as the model itself of all of the different data that each of these areas need. When doing your business case, do not just limit yourself to these models, as there are many different types of analysis tools and models that can be used to conduct the systems analysis. The last piece of this, after you've conducted your systems analysis, is to create the sprint development schedule. Once you've conducted your systems analysis and you understand how the business is laid out, it really helps you identify a reasonable area to start with when starting the development of your system. Remember that sprints help you build a system in chunks. So as you are doing your systems analysis, you may see an area to start with that maybe many other areas tie to, so it may seem like the logical place to start. Then as you develop each of the other sprints, you continue to build upon what you built in the previous sprint to continue to build out the system to meet the business needs. Sprints are typically 1 to 2 weeks long, so when determining what to build, make sure you can develop it within that sprint cycle. The sprint should be able to show the user's progress, so it should include something in the sprint that shows some type of working or semi-working development in the system. At the end of each sprint, there is a demo with the users to show them what you've built and how it meets their business needs. The sprint development schedule is not something that's set in stone. Typically, you're creating a couple sprints out and then you're building the next few sprints. As in here, you can see all of them are filled out. That's because this business case is actually complete. But you may have sprint 1 and sprint 2 built out and not know until maybe you get to the end of sprint 1 what will be in sprint 3, and so on. So that really wraps up what is typically included in the systems analysis section of a business case. Just a couple reminders. Systems analysis is conducted systems agnostic, so you are not thinking about the CRM solution right now. You're analyzing their business and their business needs. The second reminder is systems analysis is crucial to understand the business and business needs, so the system is being selected to fit the business, not the other way around. And the third reminder is systems analysis helps you identify where to start with the system development. Please refer to the additional videos created for the business case for additional information about the software development lifecycle and your project intervals.